Hey y'all, welcome back to Wonderless Life. So I'm gonna shoot this video. I'm not sure what the sound is gonna sound like. I am in New York City. I'm in Manhattan. I'm at Penn Station actually. Um, I've been down in Atlanta. New York City for about a week. Started off at the casinos in Atlantic City. Did a little bit of gambling. Came on over to Queens. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I want to talk about my experience here with the COVID-19 situation that's going on, the pandemic that's ending here in the United States. As you guys all know, I'm based in Jamaica now, for the most part. So Jamaica is completely different from the United States. And New York being the epicenter for COVID in the early stages of COVID, even up until recently, I am totally shocked at the amount of the larger difference. We'll talk about the larger difference first. I got about 20-30 minutes before my train comes, so I'm gonna give y'all a quick little video. But in Jamaica is still on lockdown. Jamaica is closing at 8 p.m. I think they just moved the curfew to 9 o'clock, where everyone has to be off the street. They're keeping no parties. They're still doing social distancing. It's required that you wear a mask everywhere that you go. Atlantic City, the casinos, the crowded casinos opened up full open 3 weeks ago is what the dealers were telling me at the table. She said they were closed only for about a month or two, I believe she said. She said, and when they opened back up, they had the dividers in between the tables. Only 3 people were allowed at each table to gamble. And that's at the blackjack, poker table, and all that good stuff. So that was a big difference. And a couple of weeks ago, she said they took all that down. They're wide open. Like, they're wide open. You don't have to wear a mask in the casino. You don't have to do social distancing. It's no separate protocols, and that's so different from Jamaica because every place in Jamaica has these protocols that you have to follow in order to be out. You have to go in early. On the weekends, they have restricted hours, more restricted than 9 o'clock. I think it's on Saturday, it's 4 o'clock, and Sundays, it's 2 o'clock p.m. that you have to be in. And here in New York City, where they had the most deaths that were recorded in the United States, they have lifted. The day I arrived to New York City, which would have been Tuesday the 15th or something. I'm in the month of June. So it would have been Tuesday, I believe. Today's the 19th, which is Saturday, so 18, 17, 16, 15, like the 14th. They actually had firework celebrations in every city or every county, I believe, to celebrate and recognize the day that masks were not required. It's not a requirement to wear masks anymore. They have lifted that requirement in New York State. A lot of people, obviously, as you can see here, I'm going to turn this camera around in a minute, are still wearing them. I got a couple right here. He has one and she does not. Looks like he's putting his on. Going inside, and this is a travel station. This is the Long Island Rail and the Amtrak where they meet, Penn Station. Which is the epicenter of the transportation in New York City for the most part. So I'm at Penn Station, and some people have them, some people don't have them. They're not enforcing it at all. Every restaurant or business I went into, a lot of people had them, but it was not being enforced. I went shopping in Jersey, in Atlantic City at the outlets, and was not required. Only one store required that I have a mask on, and that store was the Polo store. Everybody else, and I haven't been wearing my mask for the most part. I do have one here because if someone says that it's required, I'm not about to fight them. If they want it in their store or their business, not a problem for me. I put it on. But as for the law and what the government is requiring, it's not something that is required anymore. So just heads up on the major difference between Jamaica and New York City. Everything is open. They have their water parks open. Everything's back open. It's wide open. You can still see people for the most part. We got visitors coming in. They're just taking pictures of the buildings that's behind me. First thing that you see when you come out. Gorgeous buildings here. You can see from where I am. It is so gorgeous here. I've been to New York quite a few times. I'm from upstate New York, and that's where I'm getting ready to travel to now. So I can't wait to show you guys those videos of where I'm actually from, which is Rochester, New York. But I definitely wanted to talk about the difference. And another big thing, and this is the main reason I'm making this video. Coming from Atlanta, Georgia, I was in Atlanta, Georgia for a week after leaving Jamaica. So I've only been back in the States about 3 weeks now, and 2 of those have been spent, a week and a half have been spent on the road. I think I spent the week in Atlanta. But they are giving out free vaccinations everywhere, even in the train station, in the subway, they're giving out free vaccinations to anybody. You don't have to have anything. All the numbers and the IDs, not IDs, but the stats are sent to the state so that they can say that 75% of the United States or Canada, not Canada, but New York City or the United States has been vaccinated. We went this weekend at the place that I was staying at. There was a lady, the mom wanted to get vaccinated. Her and I went on a walk in the morning just to go exercise, and we went to the drugstore. So she said, since we walked to the drugstore, I'm going to ask about the vaccination because I want to get it. And they told her that it was Rite Aid. They told her that they didn't have any open appointments for her, and that if they had any cancellations, they would call, and they took her number, and they told her she can schedule an appointment. So we left, anticipating they would give us a call later that night. She said that around 7 o'clock they started walk-ins. So on our way back, there was a little corner doctor's office. I don't know, it didn't have a lot of signage for it, but it said COVID test or vaccination. So I said, let's ask here and see if they have them here. So we had to go to about 3 doors. We're in Queens on Linden Avenue or Linden Boulevard, and I stopped and I asked, rang the doorbell, and the guy said, what time do you have an appointment? He wants to know the patient's name. And I'm like, we got a mask, so I'm like, we want to, about the information about the COVID test or vaccination. So he didn't let us in, he didn't buzz us in, and I said, well, she wanted to see if she can get the COVID vaccine. So he opened it, buzzed us in, let us in, and he asked her, did she have an appointment? And she said, no. So of course I started talking, and I'm like, no, she just wanted to see if she can get the vaccine, how it worked. So he was like, you want the vaccine? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, again, do you have an appointment? And she was like, no. This lady is 71 years old. So she was like, no. And she was like, but if I can get an appointment, I'll take it right now. So he's looking at me, and he was like, you want to take it right now? And I said, no, I'm not taking it. So he's like, you want to take it right now? You want the shot now? And I'm like, she want the shot. So now we laugh, and it turned into a joke. So he sits her in the chair, has her fill out a document, and she's like, I forgot my ID. Can I come back? And he was like, don't worry about it. When you come back for your second shot, you can have your ID. So the paperwork is basically, have you had COVID? Have you had any symptoms? Have you been in contact with anybody? The same questions. Have you had any medical conditions? She did have some medical conditions that she discussed with them, and they said it wasn't an issue. They don't offer a choice of vaccinations. At Rite Aid, they were giving out the Moderna, and then at the clinic that we went to, it was Pfizer. So after he starts with the shot, he actually pulls the shot out, get her started, sit her in a chair. I mean, we didn't even stand up. Like, she went straight into the room, and then he tells us we have to wait for about 15 minutes to see if she has a reaction before we can leave. Now keep in mind, he's asking, this young man is a nice, handsome young man, he asked me 20 times, did I want the COVID, and did I want the shot, did I want to come back for the shot, why won't I get it, did I want to give my number and get the shot later, just all kind of flirting he was doing. So we finished with the shot, and we go in this reception area to wait, and it's like 10 people waiting. We had no idea that it was a waiting area and people were waiting to get the shot. We bypassed the line completely, and we sat out there and we had conversations with people. There was a lady there with her 2 daughters getting it. She had the shot already about a month ago, and her daughters, both teenager girls, were getting it at the same time. The young lady that I went with, she didn't have any issues. She said her arm was a little bit sore when she left. Then I guess paranoia kicked in, and she was like, it was really sore. But she had, next day she was a little bit sleepy, not like drowsy or, what do you call it, or, what do you call the other word, starts with an L. Okay, anyway, she was a little drowsy, not really like out of it, not sleepy, not, shit, I can't think of the word, but anyway, but that was it. She had no other issues. She goes back for the second shot on the 8th. But what I did want to talk about, and I keep saying this and I keep getting, well, I'm not getting off track, I'm just elaborating. New York is pushing this vaccine so hard. Every other commercial on television is about the vaccination and how they can get it, how we can get it for free, how they have celebrities on here talking about why they're getting it, what their responsibility is to their community. We have the governor on here talking about they got it. They want to increase their chances of survival. I mean, when I say every 5 seconds they're talking about you can get the vaccine and why you should get it. Then, there's a disclaimer at the end of each of the commercials that's running, the PSAs that's running. They got 15-second PSAs, they have 30-second PSAs, and they have 4 minutes of COVID. Please get a vaccination. Please get a vaccination. And then they come in the background with it's your choice. You can do it if you want to, and how people should be free to make that choice. But they are bombarding people with these images and this message to get the vaccination. Now, my message is not I'm against it or I'm for it. It's just that just the same way when COVID started, where everything on the news, even if you did not know anybody that was sick or died, you felt like it was inside your house because they were all images of death and disparity and sickness. Even if you didn't know or personally see anybody sick, it was making everybody paranoid. And now with this vaccination, the radio was running it. They got billboards that's offering the vaccination and telling everybody they should get it. They have 3 stations set up around the community, inside the subway. Not even just, I took the Long Island Rail up just now. The Long Island Rail, usually with any train or public transportation, they give an announcements as to what stop it is, as to where you're going, and things about New York. And can you believe it? Inside those messages, welcome to New York and all that good stuff, and this is such and such stop coming, there was an announcement on each one of those that they would give you the free vaccine and you can get a free bus pass if you take the vaccine. Inside the New York subway, which is not Long Island Rail, I guess it's just a regular MTA. The MTA has stations set up inside as well in the subway of New York City where you can get a free vaccination. You can get you a free bus card as well. This shit is blowing my mind. Like, I know in Atlanta they're not pushing it as hard, or maybe because I'm not in the actual city, and here I'm in the city. I'm in Manhattan now, and it gets pushing it. So, if you want the vaccination, it's available for you. If you don't want the vaccination, it's available for you. I do believe at some point we will all be required to take it. I know right now Jamaica has set up where they're offering, instead of doing the mandatory 14 days of quarantine when you come in, you can now do 8 days if you're vaccinated, if you're fully vaccinated. So I'm not vaccinated as of yet. I really contemplated getting it the other day with the young lady that I was with when she got it, but her appointment to come back was on the 8th, and I'm not going to be in New York City on the 8th. So just wanted to let y'all see. I'm going to keep this recording when I go back inside, or maybe I'll start a new one. I'm going to go back in and get ready to catch my train. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed, and y'all stay positive out there. This is again Tamaya Stokes. Make sure y'all subscribe. I know I'm talking full speed. Y'all subscribe, y'all share, y'all like, leave me a comment. Let me know what your experiences are with the vaccination, where you're living at. Thanks for watching.